Hey, it's Chris, Liege Games. 7 games I'm excited to get to the table soon. Which games are there? Why am I excited about them? And everything else, rambling thoughts as I give you a little bit of a look into them as we go along. Let's do this. Look, I mean, this is a nice pile. And you recognize probably most of these names, but some are going to be a little surprised. Some aren't, depending on how new you are to my channel or not. But I just love talking about board games, and these are the ones that I am excited to get to the table in the future, in case you can't tell. And let's go ahead and start from the top, right? And by the top, I mean literally the biggest one on the table, because I couldn't even keep them all on the table because of how small this table is. And this is Dwellings of Eldervale, right? Like, I got one of these second printings, and I got the legendary. I didn't get all of the like superfluous bonus stuff, like all the extra deluxified tokens and everything, but I got all the gameplay stuff pretty much. So I don't really know what to expect with this. I've dallied a little bit in the rules, but I really haven't looked too much at, this is the Ghosts, I believe. Was this the solo mode, I think? Yeah, solo mode, Ghost setup there. I don't really know what to make of it from that standpoint. I mean, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be something I could dig myself into as I'm starting to play more solo games. But I don't really know. And the appendix, the appendix. This is basically a little bit of an explanation of everything. I don't even know anything about the factions. So any of you out there right now that are chomping at the bit, or Dwellings aficionados, what faction should I be? What faction? Which one? Should I be the Chaos? I mean, I love me some Chaos. I'm not really an Order type person. What else? Magic cards. I love me some Magic. Atlanteans, Cult of the Night Queen. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. I just said this is a game that I need in my collection. Is it going to get played a lot? Is it going to get played a ton? I have no idea. You can see overhead here, I haven't even opened this up. So like everything is empty. Everything is still in shrink here. I really need to just like punch this out because this is a massive amount of stuff too. It's really heavy. This is probably one of the heavier boxes I've gotten recently. Probably second only to probably Oathsworn, the standee version of Oathsworn, mind you. Spoilers, that's not on this list. I said actually be able to play, right? So that's why Oathsworn, spoilers, isn't already on this list. But I mean, this is just a massive freaking undertaking, and everyone loves it. And I need to see if this can win me over from a non-worker placement person side of things onto a little bit more of that aspect. So that's why I'm really intrigued to see if it can really win me over. I mean, do I really like and need necessarily paying for all this extra deluxification? Frankly speaking, no. It drives me crazy. But I also knew that this was a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of one of those games where unless I got it when I got it, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to pick it up was going to be. So I said, you know what, Chris, just go for it. And I see, look, I don't even know how to put this back in here already. I mean, that's how oblivious to all of this I am. Does it go like that? I don't even know. I'd have to like look back at the video and already see how I unboxed it. But 1 to 5 players, 30 minutes per player. And if it really plays 30 minutes per player, like, and I could play a 2-player game of this with my wife in an hour, like, there's not too many games I can do that. Now, I worry about the scope and the overhead in terms of learning the rules, especially from her standpoint. Like, we were just playing another abstract the other night, and like, so I got to be a little careful because she just doesn't want to sit there for a 20-minute rules explanation. Like, I can sit there and read rule books for 3 hours, when I do the crowdfunding roundups, but she has no interest in that whatsoever. So that's number 1. Number 2, I've got sitting out right in front of me here too. You get the nice overhead shot of Endless Winter Paleo Americans. I told you Fantasia Games sent me it, and this one, again, just kind of has cool artwork everywhere, and I really wasn't sure what to expect with this. I've heard mixed feelings. Like, people really love it, or people really think it's meh, 6 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. Those seem to be the divisions of ratings that are going right now. And you can actually see that I went ahead and punched this one. I got this one all organized and put together. And I'll say this is probably the one nice thing that I've seen, because there's so much stuff in here. They have this little overview of where actually everything goes, so I didn't have to guess, especially the cards, which is kind of, frankly speaking, a little bit of a nice thing with a game this big and this many parts, literally and figuratively speaking. Look, I got all the components separated by color, and I am all over this. I don't have all the expansions in here, so take that for what it is. But again, this was another one that I said, okay, I love Dune Imperium. I freaking love Dune Imperium. I have the expansion. I have the other expansion ordered and is going to eventually end up at my doorstep when it's released. And is this going to win me over a la Dune Imperium with a little bit of deck build and a little bit of worker placement? I've never really had any interest in Lost Ruins of Arnak, right? Like, when I looked at this one, even on crowdfunding initially, I said, I just don't know. I just don't know if this is a game for me. But the other thing I'm trying to do, and I encourage everyone to do all the time, right, is like, try stuff that's not your norm. Now, you're not probably getting games sent to you like this, so I mean, take that for what you will, but like, if you go to game night, you go to somebody else's house to play something, right? My number one advice for anyone ever getting or thinking of getting into this hobby, or whatever they're at in terms of the hobby, is try new stuff. Try new stuff, because you're going to find your interest changing, you're going to find your taste changing, you're going to find your just waxing and waning of what you did like and what you will like. And that's not to say that you're all of a sudden going to magically transform into a Catan to a 18xx player, right? But that's to say, like, there are things that you are going to branch out into that you may not have found appealing, that you initially sort of poo-pooed or tossed aside or just looked the other way. Whether you're a heavy Euro person, now all of a sudden that miniatures game really looks like it's got your name on it. Or you're like me and you're going, okay, I love 30 to 60 minute games, abstract, thematic, cooperative, deck building aspects, and now I'm getting into like this unconscious mind. I'm losing horribly at games like Pampero. I used to own Teotihuacan. So I mean, I'm venturing out into that. I'm looking at Wayfarers of the South Tigris, and this is right up there in terms of saying, okay, let's expose my interests to something different. Not only just mechanically, but also thematically, because I'll be frank with you guys, this theme doesn't really do anything for me. Like, it's not a huge interest of mine. But that's the other thing I'll say, especially as an abstract lover. I'm willing, more times than not, to completely look past the theme on the outside to see if the actual gameplay suits me. Because there are a lot of things that I have not been interested in from a thematic side of things that have really, really struck home in terms of gameplay. I mean, that cannot be understated. That cannot be understated, again, as another big tip for anyone watching this and anyone looking at it. Do you, but be open. Be open to other experiences. So that's number 2. That's Paleo Americans here. Number 3, we're going to go somewhere slightly different here. We're going to go number 3. This is actually an expansion. I'm cheating here, right? If you know me, I'm going to have a whole separate video dedicated to this very soon as well. This is the latest expansion from the Loop. I ordered it. This is another rarity. If you watch my channel, if you're one of those people who's been around for a long time, you know that Liege does not, we're referring to myself in third person. It's fun to do sometimes, right? It's my own channel. I can do it. I do not order from retail. Hardly at all. I trade heavy. I buy heavy on crowdfunding, and I just have always done that. And I just tended to get burned when I personally buy at retail. I am just not a very good judge of my own taste at retail, apparently, right? The first thing I ever bought at retail, Volver Card House for free shipping threshold, I own none of those games still. Right? So anyway, this is the latest expansion from the Loop. I got it. I'm going to be talking about it. It's Fur Brigade. See, this is how this video is going right now. 1 to 4 players. It's adding another 2 characters, another 2 rules and mechanisms to the Loop. And this, if you want to make an argument that the first one was much more on the let's make the game harder, let's make the game a little bit more complicated, and let's focus not on the player's side of things and upgrading them, but upgrading the baddies, upgrading Dr. Foe, Dr. Fu, if you have the original version from Catch Up like I do. And so you can see here, these are the 2 characters, right? You've got Arsène Lupus, the play off the French thief, Lupin. And then you have Catruman the Black, obviously Lord of the Rings reference there to Saruman. Catruman. And so the 2 unique mechanics that they're bringing are really exciting to me, because I will say right now, I think that both of these guys are better, for me personally, than the 2 in Fozilla. I'll just put that out there right now as a point of reference, because you have Arsène, which is activating a whole new mechanism, basically allowing you to warp around the board, which is really, 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 really going to help, because it's just a cool mechanism, and it's going to be awesome, believe me on that one. And then Catruman, you get 4 cards instead of 3, which sounds small, but it's very, very effective. And a whole new deck of cards that you get to add in as well, utilizing these mechanisms. And so I love it. I love the little meeples as well too. These meeples are awesome. Look at this meeple. Like that's just cool. That's just cool. I love little wooden meeples. I think they look awesome. I love meeples even without screen printing. Like there's no screen printing on here. It doesn't need to be screen printed. It's just cool. Cool shapes. I got to go with my Fozilla, my big black Fozilla Dragon Zord guy. And this is going to be awesome. And so I'll have a full review out shortly in the next couple weeks as well. So that is number 3, the Fur Brigade, if I can say that correctly. Number 4 here. Number 4. This one is going to be a little bit new as well. My friends from over BFF Games, they were over in Essen, and they said, hey, is there anything we can, pick up for you along the way since we're over here? And they picked up for me Miss over Carcassonne. The German version, mind you. Now, the English rules are already online, so I'm going to be getting that as well from that standpoint. But I'm really excited to kind of see what this one looks like. Punched it out already. I've got the full board here. I have no clue what the board looks like. It looks like your basic Carcassonne scoring. I tipped it on its side. You've got 2 other boards you're going to be playing with here. And then all your basic tiles, all your basic meeples right here as well. Meeple land. Yay! Anyway, so I don't know. I don't know what else to do with this. There's not a whole lot of other components. I guess there are the little ghosts here as well. So you can see the little ghosties if it doesn't blur out there. Or ghosties up here with this camera. Whichever one works there. You'll see it in the edits or the cuts. But I mean, that's it, right? Like, I don't even know how to play. That's the whole game in a nutshell. It's got, compatibility, I guess, with the base game. And so I'm interested to see as a cooperative Carcassonne, right? Like cooperative Isle of Skye. I think that's a great concept. And it really excites me because the other aspect of things with this is I have no idea when something like this is going to be over, making its way to North America. This is a great game, I think, for maybe the kids potentially, as well as my wife and I to play, as well as at game night. Sort of in the lines of that, something a little bit lighter, a little bit more tile-driven, because there aren't too many other tile-driven cooperative games. I'm looking at like Race to the Raft. That's why I was so excited about Race to the Raft from Frank West and the Isle of Cats Kingdom World Land line of games, because I think that that's just going to be something cool, and it's ghosts and hauntings and moving around, and I don't really know what else, but I mean, look at this cover and tell me that you aren't intrigued by that. So that is why it's number 4 on this list. Number 5 here. Number 5, we're going to be talking about it. No, it's still in shrink because I didn't have a chance to open this one up. But this is Fall of the Mountain King. This is the Kickstarter edition of Fall of the Mountain King. I backed this on crowdfunding. And this is another one where the sum of the parts is so much greater, I feel like, than the individual parts themselves. Because, again, you have these components that, they're a little bit deluxified. They've got some miniatures. And they've got some worker placement. They've got some intense resource management. They've got some area control. And if you are like me and you've heard me talk about these things, 2 of those 3 mechanisms are not really my favorites. But this is one with Burnt Island Games. One of the first things I ever did in terms of interaction online with the board game community. I got invited and I played this before the crowdfunding campaign and put a little video out of just playing I think we played like 2 rounds of one game. Or we played like the first phase and like part of the second round. And I loved it. The tableau building with this was just intense. And it just has a lot of cool stuff. You know what? Screw it. I decided to just open this one up on camera for you guys right now so we can kind of go over. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. We'll toss it behind the camera. But, we got the overhead view as well. Fall of the Mountain King. Again, absolutely spectacular art on this box. Not that I really care. I'll be frank with you guys. I don't really care about art on a lot of these boxes. I think art is a plus when it comes to this stuff, but I'm not like one of those people who buys games solely based on the art, right? Like I could care if a game is ugly as heck as long as, again, the gameplay holds up. Mini expansion, and this was the other reason to get it. You got like these mini expansions that are included. I worry that sometimes the mini expansions are a little bit too one way or the other swingy. But at the same time, the value-wise, if you look at the back of this box, which I can't show you right now, but it's on the bottom right here, you can see like how much extra content there is, and it highlights it all in green, which is kind of nice because you know which version you've got then. It makes it very clear. There's no question. Last Stand, solo mode, if you will, right there. And then just your basic setup, it looks like, with a little advertisement of their other games. And then you got the real rule book, which, again, it was a relatively easy read. And this is not looking like it's something that's terribly super complex. Like, I was reading the rule book for Unconscious Mind tonight, and, speaking of unconscious minds making you unconscious, like, I have to, read, half a page and then stop. Just because, you know, I focus, you know, concentrate, right? Tokens. Oh, wow, this is nice. This is really nice. They're already, I don't even have to separate this. They're already separated. Wow, that's kind of cool. I mean, look at this. Individuals, they're kind of already prepackaged, and the board is right here, and even the bottom is already almost all separated. So I don't need to do a whole lot on this. Wow, this is kind of nice. This is the one I can actually show you that actually looks nice without me having to do anything. So, yeah, Fall of the Mountain King. Fall of the Mountain King, number 5. Again, this is one that I think is going to be on a lot of people's lists of great games that they like. Now, again, you have to like those mechanisms that I talked about in the first place. So that's going to be more of the issue. If you don't like those mechanisms, I don't know if anything in that regard is going to change your mind. But if you do, this one should heavily be on your radar. It's just, is all that other content going to make you feel like you're missing out? And that's something I can't answer yet at this point either. So, you know, we'll see. I'll let you know. I think I'm going to cheat here. I think I'm going to give you an extra game. I think I'm actually going to do one extra here bonus at the end. But first, we're going to talk about the ones that are on the list. And this is Bloc By Bloc Insurrection, the 3rd edition. Again, crowdfunding this one. I said, you know what? As a tile-laying cooperative game, again, thematic incorporation aside, as your, you know, revolutionaries controlling workers, students, neighbors, and prisoners struggling against the police in a city that changes each game, barricades, district occupying, loot shopping centers, anyway, liberating the city before the time runs out and the military goes. Again, the only reason it hasn't gotten to the table yet is because it's a little bit of a heavier rule book. I love the mats. I love this. Tabriz, if you missed my review for that, also had a great looking mat. Again, I haven't really looked inside of this since I got it a whole lot, so you're seeing some of the cards, or some of these, yeah, these are the cards that are going to go along with that, the actual tile, like event cards, I think. The actual cards themselves, some nice wooden, I mean, I don't mind this, right? Like, you can see this, I mean, just wooden cubes. Like, I'm completely fine with this. I'm completely fine with this. Not just this, but I'm completely okay with this for a reduced cost price point, right? Like, I think of Pandemic Iberia. Pandemic Iberia doesn't lose anything because they've got cubes, right? It makes it. So I'm completely okay from that standpoint. Like I'm needing baggies for other stuff besides board games, right? Holy cow. I have a whole collection. Like, part of my closet over here behind me is part of that. So, and then you've got all the big tiles here, and it runs through the different factions that you're going to be seeing, the prisoners, neighbors, workers, students, police, and it runs you through all of their actions and their cards and their operations. So it's kind of nice. Oh, these have to be punched. Oh, okay, they're actually a little bit smaller. Now, I thought this was like the full grid, but no, you punch these out and you have the individual tiles in there. You can kind of see overhead there. So like if I punch one out here for a second, you can see they're only about that big. So that's not too bad actually at all. Well, now I'm going to have to just punch this out and go with it. Again, I know a lot of people were turned off by this theme, like, right? It's like hitting a little bit too close to home and insurrection and that sort of thing. But again, it's got a cool thought process behind it. And it's the mechanisms that I care about more than anything else in this situation. So if it doesn't like quite fit, I'm not one of those people who's just, again, not going to do it just for the sake of doing it from that side of things. So let's see if we can get the rest of these out on this video. Apart from that, you know, I'm going to cheat here and give you guys one extra here at the end, because I came across a game upcoming here that I just decided I couldn't not talk about, because I realized it's sitting on the shelf behind me and I haven't gotten it to the table because of reasons that you'll know the second I pull it out from that side of things. Like, oh, why Liege hasn't gotten this one to the table? Oh, that's because it's a game my wife hates. Right? Don't we all have those? Do you guys have those? Like, am I the only one that, like, you love a game and someone else in your group or your immediate play area is like, I hate that game, I do not want to play that game with you? Like, I feel as though it's, you know, especially one of those games where people are really divided sometimes on some of these, where you can just totally be on one end of the scheme or the other. So if in case you can't tell where I'm going and in case you can't see what's sitting next to me, give me like 20 seconds and spoilers, like, I'll have it for you. But this is nice. I punched that out and it actually takes up a ton less space in there already. So this is actually something that's kind of cool. The other side note is, like, a lot of games lately, there's been a lot of empty space. And so there's not actually as much empty space in this when I punch this out as there could have been. So that's easily fitting back in the box. So that's kind of nice. Mist of Carcassonne though. Earlier, that box is way too big for what it is, and because box sizes now, they aren't by like what they need to hold it, they're based on like what size these are, which again, if you're like me, isn't that super freaking annoying? Isn't that just horrible? Like, I hate that premise. This is actually the bonus one, the one that my wife hates, right? Sorry, level 99 in the games. I love you guys. You guys are freaking amazing. My wife hates Bullet. She hates the real-time element of this thing. And this is orange. I don't even have Star yet. I'm working on getting it right now, but I love Bullet. Top 5 game for me all time. And this is just adding 4 more new characters. I have no clue what each of these characters are doing, but they're from Orange Juice. I don't know if you can see this. Like, it actually says Orange Juice up there. So that's... Anyway. Now they say you've got 4 different ones here. Young pilot, extremely strong, simple commands, bunnies in various formations. Fights with a variety of weapons, new abilities on the fly, and then dodging around at high speed. So, I mean, this is one that, again, if you're like me, if you're anything like me, I love this art on this box, but if you look at this from the overhead view right now, there's not a whole lot in here. So you take all this stuff out, and, you know, you can keep these as a little bit if you really need them, but this is like background fluff. So you could also probably throw these away. I know it's blasphemy, right? Or you could just stuff them in the regular game box. This is just, you know, advertisement, so we don't need that. And then these are the actual player cards. So you could fit this all in the base game and toss the expansion box, right? Like another controversial thing. Liege just tossing expansion boxes all over the place, right? No cameras or games were hurt in the making of this video. But then you also have, I mean, the decks. So the main card showing here is Big Rocket Cannon. That's an interesting card. You have to have the full line filled up. That's a dangerous one. I love this game. I freaking love this game. I am going to own everything for this game. This is one of those games where I don't really care how much they come out with it. I'm going to just try and own it all. That's all I can say. That's the bonus one. That was the unplanned one in the middle. So we'll get to number 7 here now in a minute. Number 7. Number 7 is probably not one you've heard of. It's been sitting in the back up on the shelf behind me where Tabriz is right now. And this is React, The Arts of War. And this is coming out from Brother Ming Games in the next month or so on crowdfunding. And they're the same ones who put out the Fire Emblem game. So this is their version of more of a skirmish, like one-on-one player game, if you will. And I've heard a lot of good rumblings so far online because on their Discord, they're very, very active. I didn't even know, like you can tell I haven't even like gotten this out yet, but look at this. Heavy crinkle, heavy playmat. This is pretty nice. And that was a huge thing. The last one, super high production on the Fire Emblem. It makes the price point a lot higher, but this is like a truly indie, like sole publisher, sole like very small team, one person-ish, plus or minus, doing stuff. So again, I'm all in looking at this one because this is my type of thing. You've got these nice looking acrylic standees as well. So like we pull these out here for a second. And if I push this aside so you can kind of see it a little bit better here on the overhead view, I mean, look at this thing. This thing is nice, right? This thing is nice. This is solid. This is massive, right? Here's my hand. This is not a small acrylic standee that you're going to be using it for. You've got these tiles here that are going to be zones as well. These are nice and large. Kind of like the idea of this. It reminds me a lot of Exceed, and that's why I'm sort of excited by this, because the concept of Exceed has always intrigued me. Like, I also view Exceed as probably a top 10 or 15 game of all time for me. Like I said, I love me some level 99 games. So I have absolutely no qualms about doing that. And let's just put one of these on the stand right now so you can kind of see how it holds up. Wow. That has some table presence, folks. Look at that. That's massive. Can you see how big this is? This is one of them. So like Exceed, you have like a 20 card deck or so, and you have a lot of asymmetry, whereas this one looks like it's going to be a little bit more of similar. And so it's just going to be the question of, again, with these games, which one is right for you? Now this one has dice in it. So the painter. Okay, that one has dice. What else we got going on in here? Again, a standee character. She's got a bunch of chips or tokens on the side here. I don't know if you can see those. And then what do we got here in the last one? Similar similar bunch of standees that are going to be, oh, that's what these are. I think these are powers. So like they're going to go out on the battlefield here. Let's open this up a second so you can see what I'm talking about. Because I'm going to guess that they're going to occupy like those little token slots that I was just showing you, right? So let's pull this out. Let's see. So you've got a couple of these, right? Spirits maybe, or just like magic. They've just like these little clouded magic things right here. All different colors. Like this one's purple, a yellow one, a green one, and a blue one. So some manipulation there on the board. You can see why I'm a little excited to try this one out too. So yeah, there you go. Tons of stuff in this one too. Large production value. This is going to be a heavier price point, especially if it's this size. But you're going to pay for it, and you're going to get your money's worth. It looks like too. So there you go. There's React. So there you go. Those are 7+1. I mean, I could have told you a couple others too, but I got to keep a little bit of surprise, a little bit of mystery out there as well about what I'm going to be having upcoming. But not that I really care. It's just I'll tell you guys whatever you want to know. I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to these things. So take it for what you will. And there you go. My thoughts and quick ramblings and a little bit of show and tell. So there you go. Let me know what you're excited for. Any of these look exciting to you? Let me know what I should be playing next or what I should be having on my radar as well. It doesn't have to matter. It doesn't have to be how big or how small. You know me, I cover and love everything of small sizes to, 50 backers on crowdfunding to 10,000 or 20,000. So I love it. I just love them all. Thanks for watching. Stay classy. See you around.